Okay, hi gang. So sorry I'm not with you this week. I had to go up to Ottawa, where I actually am if you're watching this during class time. And so I'm going to try to do this little thing by video. And I get that there's no interactivity, so I can't go very long, and it's not going to be quite the same thing. I appreciate your patience. You're probably watching this whenever you can, so let me just go straight to it. A couple of quick notes. One thing that we've seen from the New York Times in the past week, I don't like to use the term game changer too much because journalism is always in so much flux, but there is certainly a new tool at the least and potentially a game changer, and it is virtual reality. No, this isn't Grand Theft Auto 5 or 19 or whatever version we're on now. It's actually using virtual reality for journalistic storytelling. Not going to show a video here right now. If you're interested in it, I would say it's certainly worth 10 minutes of your time. You can watch it on your phone, you can watch it on a tablet. Check it out. New York Times, virtual reality. You can actually immerse yourself, for instance, in a refugee camp. The types of refugee camps that we see in the news right now, but really immerse yourself in a way that just straight photos can't do. Well worth your time. Okay. What we're trying to do today is just talk a little bit more about performance in video, performance in audio. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is kind of get to you. We're trying to be true to you, and we're trying to get to who you are. Now, how do we do that? It's a process. It begins with the writing that you do very often. That is to say, we want to write as we talk. We don't want to write as we read, because ultimately we won't want to be sounding like we're reading scripts, even if we are reading scripts. And that's assuming there is a script. Sometimes you might just be delivering straight. Okay, so what we're trying to do is get to your voice. Now, it may sound like I've already got my voice. Why can't I just use that? Hey, good point. Ultimately, the way I look at it is I think of it as a pie or a clock, that you kind of start out as yourself, and then you go through this process of mimicking others, or trying to find something that works, and it keeps working. At some point you get down here and you say, hey, you know what, maybe just me with a little bit more energy is better, and you kind of sort of eventually come back to midnight or noon or whatever works for you. And you are yourself, maybe a little more amplified, maybe a little bit different, but not all that much. You use energy where it's appropriate, and just remember that it is a process, so don't expect things to happen immediately. And speaking of mimicking, although I don't want you mimicking people exactly, I think that there is value in looking at how other people have done things. So I'm going to show 4 videos. 3 of the videos would be great if you could watch straight through. One of them is 10 minutes long. If you're interested, obviously you can watch it, but you don't have to. This is embedded in a playlist on YouTube, so the next video that you select should be the one that is Terry Milewski talking, and he's talking about prisons. And I want you to watch him because Terry's a guy who often does not have characters. He's like our chief political correspondent, and so he doesn't have characters in the way we like to develop characters. So he has to employ a different kind of storytelling method. When you're listening to him, listen to not just the sort of almost seizure-like way that he presents, but look at the way that he writes, that he has to write because he's not always dealing with characters. Okay? Terry Milewski, Prisons, is your next video on the playlist. And then you come back for part 2 with me.